And my dad said,
Grooming. We're like
we're like,
monkeys grooming.
I love it so much.
Tessa,
Oh my God. Well, I'm Tessa with Mama's Geeky. Thank you both so much for taking the time together. I
Oh,
love it. Listen, I love this show and I love seeing Victor and Henry getting to spend time together this season. Even if things don't go, if nothing is always happy, hunky dory in this town, let's put it that way. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. Can you talk about what you think Henry and Victor maybe are surprised most about them getting to spend time together?
well, the big surprise for Henry is that he thinks it's going to be uh, possible to become a good dad, right? And the big surprise is it's not possible because he has to deal with these seductive delusions, hallucinations that put doubt in his mind. And to love anybody through doubt is almost impossible. Like, you're not even here. These hallucinations make me think that I'm talking to you, but maybe you don't even exist. It doesn't get more basic than that.
yeah,
That's the big surprise.
I would say that I think it's everything that's as complicated as this relationship is, and it's trying to find itself. There are promises made by Henry in the beginning, a certain kind of love that that comes, and I think Victor's really encountering a lot of crushing disappointment in this, right to his soul, because of where this is all going and where it goes by the end. Okay, yeah.
Oh, I watched the finale last night. I was like, what are we doing?
This was not what Henry was talking about in the beginning,
Yeah,
and
I'm always here for you. You
yeah.
can tell me everything.
Uh,
No, you can't.
And I will say that, it's not that that I think that you and I ever thought at the end of the last season, for instance, when the story was coming, that we were going to be walking around hand in hand and doing snow angels together or anything. Like I knew that, there was a good possibility there was going to be continuous struggle as these two, navigate from.
But the
Yeah.
type of
But
struggle,
the type of struggle we had no idea.
existential angst.
Surprise is the word,
Yeah.
it's
It's
every
crazy.
scene.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
I
Scott, for you, what was it like getting to be Victor, like this other version of him? You're so used to playing this childish version of him and to get to be like a grown up.
Grown up, I know it was hard. It was very hard and scary, Tessa. I'm not gonna lie. It was very scary. But I had this guy to love working together, of course, and we spend a lot of time offset together as well. And we really got into it. We got into it to kind of lean into each other to kind of build this world. But as far as yeah, like, with the limited time that you have, you just got to make the most of it. And I just did a lot of work off the page to try and get down to the molecules of this guy. And also because the scripts, we only have and we know as much as we know with each script. So, Rob, we didn't know how many times this was going to happen.
No.
Oh, yeah,
Once,
yeah.
twice, three times, you know what I mean? But we still had to build that world and that reality.
And in the early slipping from one reality into like a 10-second
Oh yeah. Yeah.
flash of the other alternate reality,
Right.
I had no idea that it would lead to me wanting to do harm,
Yeah. Yeah.
well,
That scene is so heartbreaking. Especially you're like when Victor's like, well, we moved your bed in here so that we could be roommates. I was like, I'm gonna cry. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's
That's the
such a
gift of the gift of the writing that we always
yeah.
talk about. That's John's brilliant, it's all this, that these guys bring to the table, and Jeff and Jack. It's what an honor, really, right?
Yeah, it's an honor to grapple with this kind of writing, you know.
yeah.
It's a rare and a wonderful thing for us.
Really, really rare.
And we like to workshop everything.
Yeah.
You get to rehearse for maybe 10 minutes
Yeah.
before you shoot in a TV show.
Yeah.
But that's not enough for Scotty and me. We need to workshop it, 2 or 3 meals together, you chew over.
That's right. Or I was saying earlier today, Tessa, too, that like if you ever come to Halifax and see Bob and I wandering around down by the waterfront, and it looks like we're in something, like it's just he and I probably improvising or working through something that we're trying to figure out in this relationship, just because we love it and we love it so much. These are really rich, rich characters and storylines, and yeah, we could do this all day and all night. We just love it so much.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm so glad they brought Henry in for Victor. Like, I love Victor. He's someone I fell in love with almost immediately because he does have that like childish quality, and I was so happy for him that then of course it didn't go as
Well, we'll see.
well, we'll see.
And who knows where it's going after this.
I know. Yeah. Well, congratulations on the show. Congratulations on a final season, getting to end this, on your own terms, which I think is amazing. And I can't wait to see what happens.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate it. Well, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Of course, anytime.
Oh my God. Okay. So I'm going to hold this till after the finale because there's literally no world where I cannot talk about this with you. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I freaked out. You are now officially one of the monsters, I will say. What was your reaction to finding that out?
I I thought actually that we would a lot more would happen to it. Like, but I wasn't. I let my guard down. I forgot that they will give you a little something to keep you hooked until literally a year later, and then that'll be it. But I was really excited. I was excited to do what I haven't done before. No one ever in the town has done before, and I'd get to finally hang out with some of our monsters because they're so cool, and I barely get to hang out with them, and to dip my toe in their world. I was really excited.
What was the prosthetics and stuff like?
I tried on the mask that was built for a different monster, and I tried on the gloves as well. It is insane. It is so scary seeing myself out of those tiny holes in the mask. I was like, jump scare. But this season it was just CGI.
Okay.
I think though next season, actually, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, as soon as like you started that screech, I think that might be in the episode before, but I was like, oh no, something's gonna happen with her. She's starting to change.
What? But I have an idea.
I know. Well, you've been through so much. This whole, talk about a journey. What has it been like for you? When you started this, I'm sure you had no idea where this was going to end up at the end of this season.
No. The description I had in my audition slides, it was just like, the girlfriend of this other character, and also she is the only thing more beautiful than her is her insides or something like that. And I was like, that doesn't give me much. And I would not have ever thought that this is the direction this character would go.
Literally, you birth a monster, then you become a monster. Like, you're eating rotten food.
Yeah, to name a few.
That's just a couple of the things you've been through on this journey. Oh, just a little bit. I know. Well, I'm so excited that they confirmed another season. I love that you guys are going to get to go out on your own terms because that doesn't happen a lot in this industry. Can you talk about the feeling of knowing like you guys are going to go into this, it's the final season and you're going to get to wrap things up how you want to?
I feel really blessed, one, to have been kept 4 or 5 seasons because I get to play with my friends and this family that we've built, but also getting to see a character all the way to the end, unless you're doing like a feature, like it doesn't happen very often, and to get to do it in a series, a story that has become this global sensation, I'm so thankful, and we're all so blessed, and I hope that the only thing that could make this better is, you know, the show living on after
Mhm.
we're done with it, and I know that the fans will take care of that. So
Oh, I'm sure it will. Like it's very reminiscent of like I'm watching Lost now with my daughters, and I think From is going to be one of those things as well, like years down the road.
wow, 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 yeah.
Isn't that crazy to think about? There'll be whole new generations that get to start it from the beginning.
Oh, lucky and binge it. Oh,
Yeah, I
you'll
know, right?
never know the hardship we had to go through.
That's what I'm telling these kids. I'm like, you guys don't understand. And it would like air on TV. You couldn't stream it. Like
You couldn't
you
pause it.
no, you
Yeah.
have to be there at the TV watching it.
Let's hope you're home when it airs.
Exactly, right? Or you're having to catch up. I don't know how, because there wasn't internet to just read recaps either.
Yeah. Wait, there was internet when Lost
Was
was
well,
recorded.
was there like recaps? Yeah, I guess there was.
Actually, maybe I don't know. I saw
I
it
don't
on.
know. It feels like a whole different world that was lifetime ago. But then real quick before we wrap, I do want to talk about I love how her change happens when she's protecting her friends. Can you talk about that? Like that must have been so important to you.
Yeah. One of my favorite moments in cinema or TV is always when the person that's underestimated pulls something off and says like a I don't know. The one thing I can think of is like when a character is like, "Not my daughter," or like whatever, something like that. And the fact that I got to be part of one of those moments, it's always going to live with me, and I'm always going to cherish that because I think it is so badass. And the fact that she's doing for her family and her loved ones, um,
Mhm.
against something that took so much from her. Um, yeah, she's always going to be one of my heroes.
Oh my God. She's amazing. I'm very nervous to see what happens down the road. I hope she doesn't get consumed by this. I'm like, please be a nice monster. Like, I don't know. I'm very anxious about it.
I'll put in a good word with our writers, Tessa.
Yeah,
Just for
do
you.
it. Be
I
like,
will.
she
I
can't,
promise.
she can't get consumed by it. She should be the one in between protecting. That's what I need.
Yeah? Okay, I'll let them know.
Okay, thanks. All right.
No problem.
Well, thank you so much for your time and congratulations
Thank
on
you.
everything. And I can't wait for people to see this finale. They're gonna freak.
I'm so
Wild.
excited.
So, hey guys.
Hey,
Thanks for
Tessa.
taking the time today.
Oh, no problem.
Listen, RIP to you both. So sad. I got to tell you though, what a way to go out for both of you. I want to talk about, and obviously I'm holding this, you guys know. But I want to talk about filming your death scenes for both of you. What was that like?
Oh, Kaelen, do you want to start?
Sure. Yeah, it was intense. It was Mariel's death scene was super technical and there was many layers to it. There's the Smiley moment and then the Fatima moment and then Christy. And so there was just trying to get it right on a technical level so that it was believable. And then obviously having it be emotional because she hangs on for Christy to come back. And for me, and I can probably speak for every actor, like you just want your death to feel real so that people aren't going, oh my God, you know what I mean? It's like my worst nightmare that I would have to watch it back and go, oh, I didn't quite do it, did I? So I think that was a focus as well. But you're just in the moment and you have to be with each other because everyone's trying to bring their part, include like all the actors, including, special effects, makeup, and every department's a part of it. It takes so many people to make that look the way that it did. So yeah, and then the part with Chloe was really about the emotional aspect, and I stayed on the floor for 4 or 5 hours to shoot that. I didn't get up because once we were in the pool of blood, it was like, I don't want to have to step in and out of this. I'll just stay. It's my last moment here on the show and I can just absorb it all and soak it in. And that was moving enough in and of itself. So just kind of brought that to the experience as well.
And if I could take off what Kaelen was saying, the experience for me was also incredible, right? I got, it was my last, like my death was the last thing I shot. and we built all the way up to it. We did one part I think the day before, and then or earlier that day, whatever, and then we just worked up to that big moment, and yeah, it was great. It's like I really gave up the character as my character gave up the ghost, right? And I think uh, taking off what Kaelen said, the feeling is like you don't always get this opportunity, if you were to die in something, not every death is so, I guess, justified and cathartic and macabre, if I can say, for both of us. And I think for me personally, I think I was, just blessed that I got to go out on such a emotional and touching moment. Right.
I was so sad, like watching it. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like you knew no one is ever safe in this show, right? So,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Someone's gonna die," but I wasn't expecting you both to die. I was so sad. I was like, "Oh man," because there's one season left, and I'm like, "They're so close to potentially leaving." No, these poor people. You know what I mean? But what was it like when you first read that you knew this was gonna be your final season for both of you?
Well, we get 2 scripts at a time. We shoot,
Mm-hmm.
for 5 months or so, and we get those scripts very soon, like sometimes days before we start shooting. So both of us wrote out most of the season until just about entering our last block, and then we got the call. And they're kind enough to tell us in person before the scripts come. So yeah, it was, it's a process. You find out, and then you get the script, and then you're just kind of, for me personally, just suddenly immediately getting to work, because you're like, I need to focus on how this is going to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, at first I was shocked. I can't lie, I was shocked at first, and then when you tell me what the ins and outs about it was, I got excited. But it's also a mixture of like you want to shoot this beautiful thing, but like you do know once you shoot, it's like you're not going to see your friends no more, right? It feels like uh, everyone graduated, and you got held back, or like you graduated and people are still, coming back to school right now, and so there's that a section. But at the same time, it just feels good that hopefully I made a lasting impression on people, and people feel some sort of way about my character leaving, and yeah, and just seeing how that plays out coming into this next season as well. Yeah.
I mean, both of your characters have been through it. That's for sure. Like,
Yeah.
you've been through it. And these do feel like deaths that are going to like linger with other characters, which I think is important for going into the final. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to mean something. So there's at least that, I guess, in there. There's that catharsis there that, like, I think these are going to be important into the next season. Your
Lost but
memory
not
will
forgotten.
still be there. Yeah, exactly, right. But what is something you think you'll take with you from your time on From years down the road? If you think back to the show, what will you remember the most?
For me, the people, man, like the people I got to work with were like incredible, and I enjoyed spending time with every single person, in the cast. It's been one of the best experiences I've ever had. Like, there's one show before this that I did where I still have like great memories and connections with the people who are in it, and it's called Washed in Black, and those people, that's a really good experience as well. But like, there's nothing like how this show is. Like it's like a family, like family, and that's what I'm going to miss the most, and I'm going to be looking for that in every production that I go to now, because it's a dream.
Set the bar high for you.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
Yeah, this show for me personally, and I haven't talked about this yet, but it really encapsulates a chapter of my life. I was living in LA, and I had just given my notice on my place. I was like, I've got to leave the States. It was post-COVID, and I was literally taking art off the walls and got the call for From. So I put my life in storage and moved to Halifax for the show. And since 2022, that's been a huge part of my life. I ended up getting a place there in the city. And so it's really interesting that it's coming to an end in that way. And I think I'll just remember it forever as this very precious chapter where, this whole family of people come in for 5 months, make this thing together, which has grown legs in and of itself now and has this huge international following. And then, you just, as an actor, the chance to get to work on something for multiple seasons. I'd not done that in the past, and so there's just so much beauty. It's almost like a, you know, theater company or a band or something. Like you come back and you're like, all right, here we go. Like we don't need to break the ice. We're just back. Let's get to work. And our crews work together, some of them for decades out there, because it's a small place. And so it's a well-oiled machine, and everyone has such a good rapport with each other. So it's really extra special.
I love that. I mean, I love this show. I really think this show is one that people are gonna like. For example, I'm watching Lost now with my two daughters who are 13 and 15. And I feel like From is gonna be one of those things that families revisit years down the road. I really think it's something special. So congratulations on all your work on this show. It's been amazing. And I gotta ask you, are you guys gonna be tuning in for the final season? Are you gonna try to get secrets from your friends?
Of course, I don't want no secrets. I want to. This is the first time since season 1 I can just watch it. You know what I mean? Back into yeah.
Be like, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Please, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe that. I'm too curious. We'll see if I can hold out.
You'll be calling people. Can I borrow your script for a minute?
Yeah,
I'll give it right back.
If my name's mentioned in it, I'm technically in it still.
There you go.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, guys. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm so sad to see your characters go, but you were great. And the deaths were bananas. So good. It came out of nowhere for me. I was very shocked.